Welcome to Celtic Park for Celtic against Hamilton Academical, the first meeting of the two clubs who won the top two divisions last season, and first here since January 1989. For Celtic, it's a return to Glasgow after their Champions League disappointment against Spaniards Villarreal, a result which has made a place in the last 16 of the competition a tough prospect, but clearly not impossible. But such thoughts are on the back burner for now. It's all about achieving a 13th win in 15 league games. Well, Celtic today are without Lee Naylor as they make 4 changes to the team that was beaten in Spain midweek. Former Hamilton midfielder Paul Hartley and Maloney dropped to the bench. There are recalls for Crozas and Robson, and the front two of McDonald and Vennegoor of Hesseling, who scored all 3 goals between them in last week's win against Aberdeen. Top scorer Georgios Samaras is among the substitutes. Hamilton recall Alex Neil, who's recovered from the calf strain that kept him out of the defeat at Falkirk last week. 37-year-old Chris Swales is back as well, as Tony Stevenson misses out. Teenager James McCarthy takes his place in the midfield, along with James MacArthur, who won the Young Player of the Month award for August. And David Graham is the leading scorer, having netted 3 goals so far this season. And the referee today is Steve Conroy. While the Manager of the Month award can often be a curse, Gordon Strachan hoping that that's not the case. His side didn't drop a point in September. What will October bring? Well, it was back in the late 30s that Hamilton last won here at Celtic, but for the Accies, this is what it's all about. Rubbing shoulders with the big boys and playing in front of more than 50,000. It's a tangible reward for a fantastic campaign last year. It's not started too badly this year either, although having won their first 2 games, the results have just gone a little bit south in the intervening few weeks. Young Vennegoor of Hesseling down injured inside the opening seconds of the game. Challenge came in from Easton, and it's left the Dutchman in some pain. Billy Reid's first ever game as a manager in the SPL against one of the old firm sides. Plenty of experience before with Clyde, of course. His 4th season in charge has started well. Well, they do have a ready-made replacement on the bench in Georgios Samaras, but this is not what Celtic wanted to see at any stage, particularly so early in the game. Hamilton fans have made the short trip up from Lanarkshire in their numbers. Already celebrated 3 SPL wins this season. And is this the challenge that has curtailed Jan Vennegoor of Hesseling's afternoon? It looked innocuous. Samaras, 9 goals in 8 starts this season. Sent out to warm up, and having played against Villarreal during the week, I'm sure that Gordon Strachan would have wanted Samaras to have a slightly longer break than he may well end up having. Play resumes with Martin Canning's ball forward towards Mensing. Here's Neil. And a little bit of space for McCarthy. Here's Mensing. And a good, bright, promising start from Hamilton. James MacArthur couldn't get on the end of it, but certainly have a reputation for playing some good passing football. But Samaras is going to be on inside the opening couple of minutes of the game. Vennegoor of Hesseling lasting less than a minute. Man in good form as well. The big Dutchman who scored 2 goals last week. And Scotland's leading scorer on to replace him. Such is the luxury of the squad that they have here. Chris Swales, 37 years of age now. Having had a spell as a part-timer, now back fully pro again for the 2008-2009 campaign. Scott Brown. Just bypass McGeady the first time of asking. Crozas can bring it forward. Nakamura happy to let it run out of play for a throw. Wilson. Stephen McManus. And now Barry Robson, who has taken up the left-back role today. Crozas. McDonald. Ball back behind Scott Brown. That's allowed McCarthy to bring it forward. He didn't have too much in the way of support. Holdwell. First touch for Thomas Cherney. Wilson. Samaras beaten to it by Alex Neil. Ball from Wilson for McDonald, flicking it on towards Georgios Samaras. Easton came back to cover and he did just enough to allow Canning time to come and stop Samaras making too much ground. Murmurs of frustration. A number of passes have gone astray from Celtic in the midfield in the early stages. There's Elibert, Neil, Mensing. McDonald. Davy Graham. He's already netted against three of the SPL sides this season, and still he goes, taking on Mark Wilson. It took a combination of Wilson and Crozas to stop him, and then Graham did well to come back and win possession back. Now Alex Neil. Well played by Barry Robson, deputising for Lee Naylor at left back today, and it's a good strong run by Robson. He's got Samaras in the centre, and Easton got his head to it to head it away. Nakamura. Samaras continues his run forward. Nakamura setting up Mark Crozas, and the deflection will give Celtic the first corner. Celtic making the most of the space they were given. Samaras wanted the return ball. Nakamura essentially might have been going offside. And Crozas wins the corner off Swales. Still yet to score a senior goal in his career, Mark Crozas, who is playing a 20th first-team game today. McManus amongst those waiting. Robson making the run in towards the near post, and it was Canning that got his head to it. Good touch by Brown. Nakamura can't keep it in. Celtic just a little bit weary perhaps in the early stages, yet to be able to find their rhythm. Pre-game plans blown to a certain extent by the loss of Jan Vennegoor Hesselink to injury in the opening seconds of the game. Hamilton haven't been here very often, but I won't be too disheartened about that. In their last 5 matches here against Celtic, they have conceded 29 goals. They led in 8 here in an 8-3 defeat in January 1987. Celtic put 7 past Accies in a League Cup tie here. And there's been an 8-0 as well. So 2 8s and a 7 in 5 visits. It can only get better. To go back to the 1938-39 season for the last time Hamilton won here, but they did beat Celtic 2-0 at home in their last top flight season. Had a torrid campaign that year round, ended up being relegated, having lost 11 consecutive league matches at one stage, a run that ended with the victory over Celtic at Douglas Park. Here's McGeady taking on Easton. Clumsy looking challenge, but the referee's assistant and referee both concurred. The net result of that should be a goal kick. Well, Brian Easton had to win it cleanly. The ball from McGeady had gone. He'd already committed himself as he nudged it past Brian Easton. Steve Conroy decided that a goal kick was the correct decision. Affectionately known as Sheena, Brian Easton, the left back, ever present in the title winning side last year, and hasn't missed a game so far this campaign either. Fantastic illustration of Hamilton's youth policy of when there were any number of players have come off the conveyor belt. Easton, nearly 100 games for Hamilton, and still only 20. Caldwell. McGeady. And he committed Easton that time. And there's a good strong run by Aidan McGeady. Started off on the left flank, but now on the right. It's a good ball in as well. Any number of people attacking it. It was Scott Brown that came the closest to it. A good play by Aidan McGeady, who did well coming off the bench last week to help turn the game against Aberdeen. Rewarded with a place in the starting lineup today, and very nearly supplying an incisive cross for Scott Brown. Well, Gordon Strachan has left Aidan McGeady out of the side in the last 3 SPL matches, but he did feature against Villarreal and has made an encouraging start today as well. McCarthy gives chase and gets there ahead of Caldwell, and that's the first Hamilton corner. David Elibert forward from the back. David Graham with a player that will swing it in. That's a deep one towards Canning. Samaras back performing defensive duties inside his own penalty area. It's Martin Canning. Samaras can clear. A little bit of space in behind him, but MacArthur had done enough, and Alex Neil gets the ball out of harm's way. 4 goals in his last 4 games, Georgios Samaras. 2 each against Kilmarnock and Livingston. 9 goals in 8 starts this season. No wonder he was named the Clydesdale Bank Player of the Month for September. And Gordon Strachan taking the managerial accolade. Here's MacArthur. Crozas. Samaras. by Alex Neil. He's taking a free kick himself quickly. Here's Gary Caldwell. Too much tempo about Celtic's play in the early stages. It's a Celtic ball. David Graham not convinced. Here's Brown. And then given away by McGeady. And Graham. Derek Lyle forward with him. Well won by MacArthur, and then McCarthy doing his best to win it in a combative challenge with Crozas. It's the first one from MacArthur. And McCarthy sliding in. He might only be 17, but he does have a reputation for being a really combative, tough tackling midfielder. Just one of the many facets to his game which has caught the eye since he made his debut as a 15-year-old for Accies. Nakamura, now Barry Robson. 4 in the centre, Samaras the deepest of them. It's a good save from Cherney, and somehow they've survived. Scott Brown, the Celtic player who's just trying to get a touch on it to bundle it over the line. Great ball in from Robson. Samaras' header falling down. McDonald was there and Brown couldn't get there either. Unorthodox from Canning, but effective enough. Here's McGeady. Hamilton again, happy just to survive. Graham did really well. Mensing. Simon Mensing's versatility has been something that's been very important for Hamilton throughout this season already. Playing on the right-hand side of a forward 3 today. Can play at centre-half. Has also played at right-back this season. Easton. Celtic dropped points this season against Rangers here, and Dundee United away, of course. It was a thrilling game against Aberdeen last week where they came so close to dropping 2 more points. They're frustrated at their inability in the opening quarter of an hour to make more than one decent opportunity, which was well saved by Thomas Cherney from George of Samaras. A resolute defensive performance from Hamilton, who, bear in mind, led him 4 at Falkirk last week. It's the only time that they've been well beaten this season. Here's Derek Lyle. And he's caught Brown, that's a free kick. Just taking a little bit of time to get going today, Celtic. Here's Samaras. Head it round the corner, Canning across the cover. He's done a good job, Martin Canning, since slotting into the Hamilton back line following his August move from Hibernian, who has some European experience this season. The Hib side that lost to Elfsborg in the Intertoto Cup. Samaras trying his luck. Couldn't the ball coming in at that angle really generate the power. And Swales with him, denying him the opportunity to turn. Samaras. Alex Neil battling with him. Samaras, good upper body strength, denied both Neil and MacArthur, but then gave it away. Graham was the beneficiary of that. Worked wide by Lyle for Mensing. Mensing taking on Barry Robson, makeshift right winger against a makeshift left back, but it was the Scotland international that beat the Englishman. Samaras finding McGeady forward. And from Caldwell, knocked on by Brown. MacArthur is down hurt. Play goes on with Scott McDonald for Celtic. We haven't seen too much of him so far. Shot just had Cherney scrambling for a moment. And Cherney's going to put the ball out of play so that James MacArthur can receive some treatment. And this is how MacArthur picked up the knock, going up for it with Gary Caldwell. Just getting a knock in the eye, finger in the eye perhaps, very painful. And Scott McDonald scored at Motherwell, scored the equaliser here last week. Couldn't force too much of a save out of Thomas Cherney. 31 goals from McDonald last season, but just the 2 so far in this campaign. Fairness, he has had a brief spell out of the side through injury, just curtailed his appearances. Crozas, the defensive midfielder, performing well in his usual unflustered way in front of the back four. But McGeady, less so, lost out there to Alex Neil. Now space for Brown, Nakamura. McDonald ahead of him, McGeady's making his way forward again. And they continue to pepper Thomas Cherney's goal from distance and continue not to really test him. Shinsuke Nakamura making the most of the great amount of space. Alex Neil, the defensive midfield player for Hamilton, had just stayed up a little bit. That gave Nakamura the chance to drive forward. Lyle. So one promotion from the First Division last season, but with Dundee rather than Hamilton, signed for the side who'd been Dundee's promotion rivals last season. Dundee finishing second, and of course just the champions go up from that division. Samaras. Well, out of position this time. Canning went with him, and to his credit, didn't flinch. McGeady. Wilson. Samaras back for Aidan McGeady. A clever challenge from Swales, who quickly raised his hand to acknowledge. I think he was relieved that there wasn't a penalty, but there were no significant appeals from the Celtic players. Here's Easton bringing it forward now. Derek Lyle making a run. And Boric saw the danger and came out to make just about his first contribution of the day. That's a good ball forward from Easton. Lyle, who scored against Hearts, has done a good job. There's MacArthur back on, having had that knock to the eye looked at. He's restored to their full complement of 11. Reid will be happy so far, particularly in the light of the defensive performance against Falkirk last week. McDonald, Samaras, back by Neil, or presented straight to him, and then to winning the free kick for the foul by Georgios Samaras. This turn by Neil, bundled over by the Greek. And it's Neil who just signed a new 2-year contract last week. Vital part of what Hamilton are doing over the next couple of years. There was a poor touch from MacArthur, and he came and rescued it himself very calmly in front of the back four. And then ran out of room, and it's a Celtic throw. Samaras. McGeady. That's a good ball in again. Nakamura's got time and scores. Celtic breakthrough thanks to a fantastic piece of link-up play between their two wingers. And so much credit to Aidan McGeady. Turned inside Easton, delicious ball towards the far post, and after Alabama got caught underneath the ball, it was a routine finish for Shunsuke Nakamura. Had time to bring it down. First touch just rolled away from him, but still no Hamilton player able to close him down. And for Nakamura, the rest was routine. All the credit goes to Aidan McGeady. Shunsuke Nakamura's last 2 goals have both come against Rangers, one last season and one this season. Beaten heavily the last time he scored. Shunsuke Nakamura giving Celtic the lead after 25 minutes of football in which they haven't really caught the imagination or been able to find top gear, but they do nevertheless lead. McCarthy unable to slip it through for Lyle. Neil back for Graham.
Take it off then. Next one.
Well, one back by Neil. Trozas snapping at the heels of MacArthur, and that's forced the error. It's 3 against 3 here. Samaras might go alone. Well, Cherney perhaps showed in that corner. He just tried to drop his shoulder to deceive the goalkeeper. He intended to pass it into the bottom left-hand corner of the net, but alas, Celtic unable to double their lead. Clearly, a player in real confidence. Did wrong foot the goalkeeper, but didn't get the power in the shot to be able to get it past him. McDonald. Rosen's caught by McCarthy. Niall now speaking to the referee. I don't think he thought too much of the decision, but the referee didn't think too much of this challenge. Free kick taken in towards McDonald. Samaras. McGeady. So it's Wilson who has the opportunity to put in a decent cross, and Samaras again able to meet it inside the penalty area. Well, the goal came from a right wing cross, and again Celtic being able to find some space inside the Accies 18-yard box, but not making the most of the half chances that are coming their way. Samaras from McDonald. East them in really strongly. Caldwell. Samaras. He's the man who's been getting all the goals for them so far this season. 9 for him. Fesselink have only got 4 between them, so has become the senior partner in the trio of Celtic strikers. McGeady. James McCarthy. He's only 17, played nearly 80 senior games in his career, but never will he have played on a stage like this before. Canning slicing it away. McDonald! A brilliant instinctive effort, and he was so unlucky that it didn't provide Celtic with their second goal. McDonald again, fouled by Alex Neil, and it was a brilliant attempt from him, almost came out of nothing. A header back in, it was Martin Canning's clearance, it came down for McDonald, didn't even let the ball drop, took it down on his right foot, and so unlucky, just an inch and a half or so away from getting the kiss off the inside of the post that would have made it 2-0. Caldwell peels off to the back post. Nakamura goes a slightly flatter angle than that. Here's Crozas. Now McManus. Well, since the goal went in, Celtic are being able to get themselves into good goal-scoring positions with increased regularity. Steve McManus has scored 1 this season with his hand. Hoping to score a more conventional goal then. The one he netted against Falkirk. There's McGeady. Nakamura. Robson making the run outside him. Scott McDonald. For Nakamura, too deep for Samaras, but McGeady made a lot of ground to get there first. Hamilton increasingly being hemmed back in inside their own final third. McDonald, McGeady. Samaras trying to thread it through, and McDonald has got there. It was well blocked by Swales. But the Accies goal leading an increasingly charmed life. McCarthy brought down. Well, he hasn't yet scored, but he's hit the inside of the post. He's had another good effort, well blocked here by Swales. It was Samaras that set him up. The chances coming thick and fast now. It's a pretty filthy afternoon in the East End of Glasgow. Canning. Pressure by Samaras, but he's worked it wide for Elibet. Given away by Barry Robson. Billy Reid, the manager of the year last year. Gordon Strachan, the manager of the month last month. Neil very combative and just bringing down Shunsuke Nakamura. Here's Barry Robson. Crozas. Brown. Nagidi, nicely disguised. Nakamura. Trying to turn it back for Shunsuke Nakamura. Tough though by MacArthur. Cleared by Easton. Derek Lyle forced to plough an increasingly lone furrow up front on his own for Hamilton. Not too much in the way of support from Graham and Mensing out wide, and that's simply because Yankees can't get the ball. And what will they be able to do in this kind of position now with David Elibet? Lyle trying to make the run in behind Barry Robson, but he's covered him well. Neal, Mensing. Well, he's not playing in his natural position today, Simon Mensing. He will be disappointed that he just couldn't thread that through for the run of James McCarthy. Helped on by Samaras, McDonald, Nakamura. Samaras into double figures for the 2008-2009 campaign, and it was so simple for him. All the Hamilton players tracking back inside their own penalty area, and Samaras merely stopped, found himself in so much space, and when it was rolled to him by Nakamura, he had all the time that he needed to slot it in calmly past Cherney to give Celtic a 2-0 lead. And it's now 10 goals in 8 starts for Samaras this season. And he came on in the opening moments of the game to replace Jan Vennegoor of Hesseling. And that was as easy as they come. I mentioned earlier they've conceded 29 goals in their last 5 visits to Celtic Park. They won't want to be keeping up the average, Hamilton. Gordon Strachan's side may have started slowly, but still they have a 2-0 advantage with another 10 or so minutes to go to half-time. MacArthur's really been in the wars today. For Billy Reid, how do you change it? Easton tangling with Samaras and conceding the free kick. And the ball was moving, and it was probably taken a little bit too far forward from where the incident actually happened. McGeady. And what did Easton play? He played the man. Well, he has been cutting inside, and that was the avenue that brought the goal. This time he tried to go around the outside of Brian Easton. And the free kick goes against the young fullback. Nakamura certainly favour the angle on his left foot to whip it in with plenty of pace from here. Nice indeed towards the far post. Cherney did well to get something on it to punch it clear. And Crozas unable to win the corner. Kind of position he usually finds himself in, the former Barcelona man. Celtic will be back at the top of the table for at least 23 hours ahead of Rangers' trip to St Mirren tomorrow. That's providing they win by 3 clear goals today. Just one goal away from the return to the summit, which does have psychological bearing, I would think, as Rangers prepare at the moment. They're the side that are playing catch-up. As it last week with their win at Hibs after Celtic had seen off the challenge of Aberdeen here. The offside flag is up. With plenty to consider after the opening 45 minutes. What changes will he be able to effect during his half-time team talk, I wonder? Fall from Samaras. Canning, not the slowest centre-half by any stretch of the imagination. Here's Elliott. And then Graham's given it away to his opposite number 7, McDonald, who's rolling McGeady. And Cherney just able to get a strong enough hand to get it away. He's more than due a goal, Aidan McGeady, and he would have expected it to come there. Guilty perhaps of just trying to pass the ball into the net when a little bit of power surely would have done the job. Well, you've got to go back to last February for the last time Aidan McGeady scored. It's a run of 28 games without a goal. A few opportunities better than this one in that 7-month run. Just didn't get the power he needed. Good save by Cherney, but David Graham will be mightily relieved because it was his error that gave the opportunity. McGeady, and it's Crozas making his run forward. Very well timed challenge by the 37-year-old Chris Swales. Clearly had to make sure that he timed it right, and did exactly that. Chris Swales played under current Scotland manager George Burley at Ipswich. He does have the face of a man who's played nearly 500 games in his career at centre-half. Steve Conroy just asking for the ball to go back a yard or so. 4 from Easton. And McCarthy hurt there by Caldwell as we go into 1 minute of added time. And Gary Caldwell's going to pick up the first yellow card of the game for that challenge. The referee indicating that he thinks he went straight through McCarthy. It's the first yellow card of the season for Gary Caldwell. He's had a red mind, sent off at Kilmarnock, and this last Saturday's going through suspension. So chance for Hamilton to pull one back just before half-time. Graham's ball in, and that sums up much of their attacking play of the opening 45 minutes, I'm afraid. Will Stuart Taylor and Billy Reid be able to say to their players at half-time that will just perhaps inspire that little bit more quality in the second period? Well, Celtic, the opening 25 minutes were by no means at their best, but Shunsuke Nakamura and Georgios Samaras have given them a 2-0 half-time lead. Samaras scoring after coming off the bench to replace Jan Vennegoor of Hesseling, who was injured in the opening seconds of the game. Well, Nakamura did well, but it was a fantastic ball in from Aidan McGeady that gave him the chance. And then 10 minutes later, Nakamura set up Georgios Samaras, who's into double figures. This 10th goal of the season. Celtic coasting. Half-time, they lead Hamilton by 2 goals to 0.
Next weekend, we've got a World Cup qualifier as Slovenia hosts Northern Ireland. In a boxing double, heavyweight Vitaly Klitschko returns in search of the WBC title, and a light heavyweight unifier, Antonio Tarver v Chad Dawson. PGA Fall Series moves to Texas, and there's the final major on the Champions Tour. There's all-access football from the Blue Square Premier and live NBA basketball from London's O2 Arena. All that next weekend on Setanta Sports.
For a smoother, more feminine you, try Veet's easy-to-use wax strips. Added skincare ingredients give you touchable smoothness that lasts up to 4 weeks. Veet, what beauty feels like.
Father Christmas is spending Christmas in Disneyland Paris. Christmas starts early this year, from November the 8th. So join us. And now get 1 extra day and night free. Plus, kids under 7 stay and play free. Call now on 08448 003 003.
So will Hamilton's half-time double substitution go some way towards changing the flow of this game, or will Celtic be able to build on a first-half performance in which they missed a stack of chances? They scored twice, and still, for at least the opening 25 minutes, didn't really play very well by their own high standards. But what will the second half bring? Certainly if their finishing had been a little bit more emphatic and precise in front of goal, they could have a 5-0 lead already. Here's McGeady, who has been impressive. Not a bad ball in towards Samaras. It hit Mensing. Certainly looks more comfortable back in his more customary defensive position. Corcoran furious. Thought that was a Hamilton ball. Billy Reid and Gordon Strachan, I'm sure, will have had very different half-time team talks. Neither, I'm sure, will have been overly happy with the way the opening 45 minutes went, even if Gordon Strachan clearly will have been much the happier with the scoreline. Steve Conroy giving Celtic a free kick, which he's not going to let Robson take from there, even if he did knock it back behind him. And now he will take it again from exactly the same place. Here's Caldwell. Etienne. They want to take it back in his stride. Nicely done by Samaras. Here's Brown. McGeady. From the challenge of Easton. Donald made a good run forward and wanted the ball to be played early. When he said for Wilson. Now Nakamura. Scott Brown's made his run. Mensing caught underneath the ball. Samaras back in. The offside flag was up against Samaras. Well, for a moment it looked as though it's going to be similar to the first goal when right back David Alibert got caught underneath the ball. That time it was Mensing that got caught. And Samaras was offside. Canning. Fall from Easton for Corcoran. Started off through the centre of the three up front for Hamilton. Foul by McCarthy, this one on Crozas. Certainly very eager James McCarthy to impress on the big stage. Just a little bit too eager to impress perhaps sometimes, but whose burgeoning reputation has seen scouts flock to New Douglas Park over the 2 or 3 years since he burst onto the scene as a 15-year-old. Here's Etienne. Samaras taking responsibility and doing well. Now Brown. Wilson. Samaras in support for Brown. Now Nakamura. And Robson making the run outside him. And here he is, played in by Brown. Ball to him was better than the cross, which Canning could clear for a corner. Good interchange by the Celtic players. Good run forward from fullback by Robson. Samaras waiting again. Nakamura towards the near post. Breaks for Brown. Deflected forward from Caldwell's ball. Samaras unable to bring it into his stride. McCarthy. Crozas. Well, the idea was very clever from Samaras. Didn't come off for him, but a little bit of thinking outside the box. A little spin into space, but nothing came of any consequence from it. Ball from Caldwell. Neal. Corcoran's layoff. Too far ahead of MacArthur. Now Brown. Nakamura for McDonald. Well, he's got a corner. It was a quality ball to him, as he was quick to acknowledge from Nakamura. Should he have hit that first time, perhaps? This time it's Barry Robson who will take the corner. Thomas Cherney, who's been busy in this game, has made a number of important saves. No sign that the second half's going to be any quieter for him. In from Robson. Cherney came out. Here's Nakamura. Now McGeady, faced up by the young Frenchman Stephen Etienne. He's done well to get the ball in. And almost an own goal. Well, Celtic are doing enough without Hamilton trying to put the ball in their own net for them. Brian Easton was the player who completely lost his bearings. And Cherney really scrambling. That would have been a very spectacular own goal had that gone in. It's in from Robson, and Etienne correctly judged that he could leave that. Interesting to hear after the game what Gordon Strachan says about the quality that Celtic have shown in the final third. They have missed a lot of chances. Maybe a harsh criticism of them. They're leading by 2-0, but I'm sure that you would have expected at least some of those that have got away to have been converted. Forward from Mensing, away by McManus. By McManus again. Crozas for Robson. Wilson. Nakamura. Patient build up from Celtic. Getting close as well. Scott McDonald. Samaras. Work back for Robson. 10 behind the ball for Hamilton. Amongst them Martin Canning, who can clear. And then McManus caught underneath it. Crozas though back to cover and stop Mark Corcoran. Able to pick up cheap possession. News from downstairs, incidentally, is that Jan Vennegoor of Hesseling has a groin strain. No further detail of the severity of his complaint. Samaras, lovely reverse ball for Scott McDonald. Teased forward by Wilson, but to good effect. Brown is in there and Neal's been caught. Now Crozas. And sportingly, he puts the ball out of place and then Alex Neal can receive treatment. Scott Brown was the man putting the challenge in. Just caught the boot on the top of the instep of Alex Neal. Wry smile from Billy Reid. Alex Neal missed out last week because of a calf strain, and his absence certainly was one significant factor in Accies' defeat in Falkirk. He's going to be okay. He'll be back on in a minute. Barnsley midfielder. Neil has temporarily disappeared down the tunnel, but they're not readying a substitute as yet. Here's Nakamura for Brown. McCarthy again trying to make life difficult for him. Crozas. Nakamura, and again he's got so much space as he picks it up outside the penalty area. Deflection was all important. It was Martin Canning that just got the touch on it, and that kept it wide of that post. Caldwell forward. Manus is there as well. And Robson looking for the near post flick. It hit Easton. And then he can very calmly play his way out of trouble. Here's Corcoran. And Neil is back within the vicinity of the pitch and is waved back on. Davy Graham. Doesn't look as though there's any problem with Neil. Comfort break perhaps, but back on the field very quickly. Foul by Easton. Just caught Aidan McGeady there, Brian Easton. McDonald ran out of room. Chased after it, Scott McDonald. His first touch seemed to get the ball back on, and the assistant referee, who could hardly have been better placed, got it absolutely right. Well, these two teams have played each other 97 times. Hamilton have won just 9 of those, and the 10th win in 98 looks a very, very tall order from here. Averaged more than a goal a game so far in the SPL, but many observers think that it's perhaps up front where they're struggling a little bit. No Richard Offiong today. Robson's ball inside the box is cleared by Canning. Certainly in a recent match against Hibs, they completely dominated the second half but couldn't find a way through, and indeed didn't really force Yves Makalambe into too many significant saves. Hard to remember anything of any note that Artur Boruc has had to do today. Not too many options there for Elibert. Here's Graham. Back to the Irishman. MacArthur. Neil. Sent wide towards Etienne. Beaten by the combative Robson. And it will be a Hamilton throw. Hasn't been tested too much, but has quitted himself pretty well at left back. Barry Robson. In from Easton. Here's a chance possibly for Corcoran. He was off balance and leaning back. Hamilton's best move of the game so far. Corcoran had found himself in space. He got in between McManus and Robson. Not a player who scores too many goals anyway, let alone with his head, Mark Corcoran. He's been used exclusively as a substitute in the SPL this season after his move back to Accies from St Mirren. Started his career in Hamilton. Here's Wilson. Samaras. Again finding space. MacArthur. Neatly work between him and Corcoran. And James MacArthur running at Gary Caldwell. Boric was scrambling just for a moment. He was at full stretch. Never likely to be troubled. Celtic were happy to back off. MacArthur didn't need a second invitation to run at them. Didn't have Corcoran to his right, but went for goal himself. Samaras. Nakamura again. Robson makes his way on the overlap. And that's a goal kick. Simon Mensing absolutely furious. He thought that Robson dived there. How much contact was made by the Englishman? Well, the leg came out, and he certainly made no contact with the ball. But Robson certainly seemingly had decided that he was going to go down before Mensing's challenge actually arrived. Helped on by Samaras for McDonald. Now McGeady. Wilson to his right-hand side. Well put out by the retreating Graham. Robson. McCarthy. Free kick, the foul on Scott Brown. Hamilton won the first 2 league games this season, but this will be a 5th defeat out of 6. Momentum that they had after the victory at home to Dundee United and then win at Inverness on the 2nd week of the season has dissipated somewhat. Crozas. Samaras. Into Scott McDonald. Samaras wanted it played back to him again. Samaras doing so well, finding so much space every time they push forward. It's another Celtic corner, their 4th of the second half without reply. Samaras amongst the targets. McCarthy standing on the post, hoping to prevent the third Celtic goal. Took a touch off McDonald, came to him very quickly. Seemed to hit him rather than anything else. He was expecting it to be cleared from just in front of him. Done for Hamilton. Robson Crozas. That raised his boot as Mark Crozas broke forward, and he was quick to apologise, the Irishman. Samaras still having a few words. And Alex Neil is going to be booked here for that challenge. No stranger to a yellow card, Alex Neil. And that is his 5th of the season already. Crozas had got past him. It was the initial contact with the Spaniard that saw Hamilton penalised, and Neil become the first academical to have his name taken. Here's McGeady, lovely turn by Aidan McGeady. And this will be a free kick that Nakamura will really fancy. McArthur, the player that dived in and stopped him. Exactly half of his Celtic goals have come direct from free kicks. Shunsuke Nakamura, deadly from this kind of range. It's one thing knowing what he's going to do with it, it's another thing altogether being able to stop it. 5 in the wall. Nakamura's shot hitting the wall. And Cherney, although he didn't have a clear run to it, was still able to make the save, and by his high standards that wasn't one of his best. Goals in the first half from Nakamura and Samaras, still the difference between the two sides. How frustrated Gordon Strachan will be in the fact that his side haven't been able to extend the lead in this second half. Remember, a 3-goal victory does send them top of the table, and Sean Maloney amongst those who've sent out to warm up. Here's McGeady. Samaras, McGeady gives chase, but troubles the edge of the defensive area. McGeady more east than too sure where the ball was for a moment. Neither could wrestle it out of the path of the other. Celtic getting the verdict. Nakamura, again the player who will take responsibility from this set piece. Robson waits on the edge of the penalty area. Caldwell and McManus both there as well. The flick on the near post, so dangerous. Samaras threw himself in and couldn't reach it. And a corner is the verdict. Initially the referee had given a goal kick. I think it was Canning that just got the top of his head to it to take it away from Samaras. In from Nakamura and away by Simon Mensing. Brown. Samaras. Foul by Mensing. Hamilton trying to break quickly. Watches the challenge as Scott Brown played it forward. Samaras trying to turn his way past Mensing. The referee is happy with the challenge. And here's Nakamura now. McDonald have made the run towards the far post. Elibert digs it clear. Beginning to turn the screw again, Celtic. Robson's deep cross. McDonald will keep it in. Back for Wilson. McGeady. Nicely done. Still Aidan McGeady. Canning's header falls for Robson. Crozas for Nakamura. McGeady. Crozas. McGeady trying to take it on past Easton. Again, it's a calm, measured build-up from Celtic. McDonald. Wilson. Neil and Graham went back with him, but the tenacity of Wilson almost saw it break inside the penalty area. Still, Celtic have it. McManus. Back to Nakamura. Not back to McDonald as he intended. Neil poking it forward for Mensing. Crozas dived in. Mensing able to play it forward. Caldwell just slips it forward for Wilson. Back it will come again, almost inevitably. Samaras using his height to good effect. McDonald had made a run at a different angle for him. Well, at times the link-up play between Samaras and McDonald is phenomenal, but at times they just seem to be at cross purposes, and that's certainly one of the latter. There have been some lovely touches in this game where one has made a run instinctively knowing what the other one was going to do. And opportunities like that just got to prove that perhaps it's not quite the perfect forward partnership yet. Sean Maloney's going to be on in a moment for Celtic. Here's Caldwell. Slips it forward for Wilson, who will get there, but Samaras couldn't get there in time. Wilson just trying to slip it inside the penalty area for him. Etienne had made a run forward out of your picture on this near touchline. Here he is now, and he wanted the ball to be played early by McCarthy. He ended up tackling himself there, Etienne, but still managed to flick it back for Mensing. Corcoran loses out. Crozas. Now McGeady. And still Aidan McGeady going for goal himself. Cherney grateful that Samaras was a good 15 yards away when the ball was hit. While he missed a good opportunity in the first half, and if he'd hit that one with as much power as this one, he surely would have broken his 6-month SPL goal drought. Etienne trying to turn inside Robson, he read his intentions easily. McGeady. Slipping it through for McDonald. Canning's gone with him. Oh, he's done brilliantly. Scott McDonald! Some goal that! That really is a goal that highlights why you should never give up a lost cause. Canning was there, but McDonald slid in, controlled it brilliantly, and then side foots it home under Thomas Cherney for 3-0. Brilliant play by McDonald. Good play by McGeady to find him, but that is just sublime.
Substitution for Celtic will play it off. Georges Samaras.
Well, Scott McDonald had been about to come off, but now he's scored. It's Georges Samaras, who came on as a substitute, you remember, in the opening moments of the game, who makes way for Sean Maloney. And Hamilton are going to make a final change as well. Joel Thomas will be the player that will come on for them. Scott McDonald scoring just his third goal of the season. The equaliser here last week at a similar stage of the game against Aberdeen. He took that one well, but this one an excellent finish, and possibly a celebration with a little barb after a few comments about McDonald's own waistline. Perhaps he's made the point. There is Joel Thomas, the Frenchman, on as the final substitution made by Billy Reid. He's replaced Davy Graham. Neil. McCarthy. And still McCarthy. Goes down. Penalty. Steve Conroy giving Hamilton a penalty as James McCarthy's brought down. Link-up play between him and Thomas. And it was Caldwell that dived in. But he was close to making contact with the ball. How much contact did he make? It looks a very soft decision. Well, Hamilton with a chance to pull one back. And James McArthur misses it. Scores at the second attempt, he doesn't. Artur Boruc with the save. And perhaps justice was done. Didn't hit it with too much power. They loop back up towards McArthur. The second save is an excellent one. In it comes from Etienne. Too high for Thomas, and Celtic will be able to bring it away. Celtic fans celebrating that penalty save more than they have done the 3 goals, arguably. Ball from Robson. And away by Canning. Well, Artur Boruc with a superb double save. That save relatively routine. The second one is excellent to deny McArthur on the follow-up. He looks certain to score. He was pretty happy about it as well. Darren O'Dea will be on for Celtic very shortly. That will be their last change. Scott Brown, the player we understand, who will be coming off. Boruc stumbling as he clears. Good play here by Brown. McGeady. Needs to get in on the goal act as well now, and he wasn't too far away from doing it. And Cherney at full stretch. Worked the angle for himself very cleverly, checked it back onto his right foot. And Cherney very grateful to see that one whistle past his post, because it was close to being a fourth goal.
Substitution for Celtic played off Scotland.
So Scott Brown setting up Aidan McGeady there, his last contribution, as Darren O'Dea comes on to replace him. And O'Dea will slot in at left back with Robson pushing forward into midfield. Here's Wilson. Now Hamilton can bring it forward with McCarthy. Trying to get it forward for Joel Thomas. Here's Barry Robson in his more customary central midfield role now. Maloney has kept it in, and still dancing past them all. McGeady scores. Finally, he's on the score sheet, but that goal is all about Sean Maloney. His first contribution since coming off the bench. The kind of high kicking that a can-can dancer at the Folie Bergère would have been proud of. Low centre of gravity that he used to such good effect. Can-can dancer meets Nureyev. McGeady finally on the score sheet. Almost Mickey taking that, but puts the ball on the plate for Aidan McGeady. No one can remotely take offence. 4-0 to Celtic. McGeady scores his first goal in 29 games, a run stretching back to last February when he found the net against Aberdeen. McArthur. Etienne. There's a few forward in support for him. Darren O'Dea. And there was no way that was going to be given. The first one might have been a soft penalty. That would have been very soft indeed. Well, sometimes playing a team in yellow will see you leave with a smile on your face. Maloney. Crozas. McCarthy. McArthur for Mensing. Corcoran's made the run forward, but Wilson got his angles right and guided back for Rada Boric. Easton. Blocked by Caldwell. McGeady loses out to Alex Neil. Now McCarthy. Blocked off by McManus. ball had gone. Palace made sure that McCarthy didn't follow it. And an opportunity for a spectacular consolation, perhaps, something tangible to remember. First trip to Celtic Park for nearly 20 years by. Oh, Tony Stevenson in the Hamilton side, he certainly would have fancied this, but Easton is there. The angle with the ball slightly right of centre might just about favour the left footer. Joel Thomas stands over it as well. Is it going to be teed up for Neil? It's Thomas. And it was pretty dismal. And Celtic will look to break quickly. Nakamura. And now Darren O'Dea on the overlap, and he's won the corner. Two in the 6-yard box. From Nakamura, missed everybody, almost fell for McDonald, he just couldn't make any significant contact. McCarthy stealing in on the blind side of Crozas. Next up for Celtic, it's a trip to Inverness, and then a trip to Old Trafford in the Champions League. As for Hamilton, St Mirren and Rangers at home. So the way the table is shaping up early, I think that Hamilton fans will appreciate the significance of St Mirren at home. Nice kick by Joel Thomas, away by Mensing. MacArthur. Etienne. MacArthur. Robson's had a very solid game. Done by Neil. And McDonald can bring it away. And Sean Maloney sprints to give him an option to his left-hand side. And here is Maloney. Can he lead them all a merry dance again? He's certainly going to try. And that wasn't too far away. Well, he's playing with a newfound confidence after moving back to Glasgow. And that's been really well illustrated today. This perhaps not as close as it first looked, but still Maloney doing well to work the option for himself. Into 3 minutes of stoppage time. Alex Neil. McCarthy. MacArthur. It's not been his day in front of goal. He couldn't beat Ardeboroch from 12 yards, all from 6. 25 a little bit optimistic perhaps. Well, they haven't been at their best today, Hamilton, but they have caught the eye consistently since their promotion. Certainly, despite conceding 4 goals last week and 4 goals this week, expect them to turn out to be the whipping boys of the division. Here's Maloney, trying again with the tricks and the turns. He couldn't bamboozle King and Mensing. He'll be wishing that he'd had more than a 15-minute run. Here he is again, Sean Maloney. Caught. Thomas trying to nip it round, and in the end it's going to be a goal kick. Well, a week of pain in Spain for Celtic, but certainly no pain here this afternoon. A 4-0 victory, 4 different goal scorers, but for a little bit of more impressive finishing, particularly in the first half. Could have been 8 or 9. Sean Maloney with a fantastic cameo after coming on, set up Aidan McGeady for his first goal in more than 6 months. Nakamura, Samaras and Scott McDonald all scored as well. The only block really on the landscape as far as Celtic are concerned. A groin strain for Jan Vennegoor of Hesseling that saw his involvement limited to the opening 60 seconds of the game. Shutsuki Nakamura got the first and Samaras the second before McDonald did brilliantly to create an opening for himself to make it 3-0. And Maloney danced through to set up McGeady for the 4th. So for Celtic, a 4-goal victory takes them back to the top of the table ahead of Rangers' trip to St Mirren tomorrow. Hamilton, for the second successive weekend, left to scratch their heads after conceding 4. They'll just be glad that their first trip to Celtic for 20 years has come along every week. Full-time score, Celtic 4, Hamilton 0.